Hello, everyone. How are you this evening? Hello, hello. Hi, Jennifer. Please let me know if you can hear me over in the comments. Just want to make sure everything is working okay. Give you a couple seconds to come on here. Hi there. Let me say hello to a few people. Hi, Jennifer. Hello. Hi, Bobby. Hello, Michelle. How are you? I see lots of names from earlier today. Let's see. Hold on one second. Yeah, don't let the bread burn in the oven. Hello, hello. Oh, good. Okay, thanks, Jen. Thank you for checking all of it. Thank you, Bobby, that you can let me know you hear me. That's awesome. Hi, Robin. How are you this evening? Hi, Barbie. It's great that you made it. So how many of you were here with me earlier in part one of my tutorial Tuesday? That's a tongue twister, right? So on Tuesdays, we've started a new thing where we're doing 2-part tutorials. And let's go ahead and get this banner off of there. I'll just say this quickly in case someone is listening and not looking at the screen. We've got a banner up right now that is it has the information for you to sign up for text alerts. So if you text the phone number 540-870-0726, just send the word live stream. That'll automatically put you on our text alert. And that way you'll get notified anytime that we go live. The ticker was running down at the bottom of the screen for the text alerts, but it's at the beginning of the video, so you can always come back to it later. I'm going to take that off because it gets a little distracting when we're putting cookies together. The coffee shop, you guys, if you'd like to go and visit my coffee shop, I'd love that. If you did not get to see part one of this tutorial, the free tutorial is up both in our new group, Cookie Snack Attack, as well with Seriously Sweet, as well as on my main store page, and also on my YouTube channel, Seriously Sweet Cupcakes. So Jen is with us. She's going to drop some links in for you to get to that new group. Right before we came online, I double checked our number, and I believe we're up to 438 people in our group already. How exciting is that? So let me just see if anybody's jumped in the last couple of minutes. We're at 436 in our group. That's our number currently. So if we get to 500 by the weekend, then we will be doing another drawing for a free virtual class that's coming up soon. So let me go ahead and take this banner down so that you can see me. I won't be able to see you, but you'll be able to see me. And we're going to jump right in on part two. How are you guys doing tonight? Please tell me where everyone is watching from. Oh, how fun. Oh, but she likes. Oh, good. I'm glad I said your name right earlier. Wonderful. All right. And Nadine is here. Nadine is another Canadian friend. Hey, Nadine, I'm glad you made it home all right. And Elisa is here. She is a close neighbor here in the States. And let's see, Carmen Miranda's hat. Michelle, Long Island, New York. Wonderful. All right. And I see Debbie from Paris, Texas. Hey, hey, how's everybody? So if you've been following our updates, you'll know that we are now on Tuesdays in our own group and on our store page and on our YouTube channel as Cookie Snack Attack with Seriously Sweet. We will be doing 2-part tutorials. So at noon, I'll go live stream. Karen's here from West Virginia tonight. Good to see you. Connecticut is in the house. This is so fun. I love seeing where all of you guys are from. It's really fun for me. Let's see. So Jen, if you could, the link for the Facebook group, which is Snack Attack, Cookie Snack Attack with Seriously Sweet, the link to my store page, which is Seriously Sweet on Davis Street. And if you can find it, the link to our YouTube channel, just in case someone does not want to, isn't that funny? Can you see this thing floating behind my head? Because I have a virtual background up right now. That's actually the ladder back part of my chair. How funny is that? So anyway, we will be on Tuesdays at noon with the first part of a 2-part tutorial. It'll be where we go over what we're going to do, and we'll go over what's in the coffee shop for sale. That way, if you are at home and you're working on things and you want to get prepped to do the live at the same time as us, you can. And you guys, I did a bunch of updates on my system earlier. And you know what's so funny? A half an hour ago, all of these colors were perfect. This and this edging and this is actually neon green, like super, super neon green. And about 5 minutes ago on these cameras, it was perfect. But now it has changed back to where it looks like it's tan, which the tan doesn't look bad, but the neon green is way, way cuter. So let me just do a little flip up here and see if that is part of the problem. And see if we can get the camera to readjust here, because the green is so pretty on all of this. Let's see what it looks like on the other sample cookie. So you get the idea on this one. So I'm using some cookies. I should back up and say, hi, I'm Amy from Seriously Sweet on Davis Street. It's good to be with all of you this evening. Thank you for coming back to the second part of our tutorial Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be 2-part tutorials streaming on all of those things I just mentioned at noon and at 7 p.m. So earlier today, we came on and we went through all of the royal icing transfer templates that were for sale as a package in the coffee shop today. Let me show you the others. And we made this morning, or at lunchtime rather, might have been morning for some of you though, because a lot of you are earlier time zones, I guess. For me, it was noon. For some of you, it was 8 in the morning. But we went ahead and made the royal icing transfers this morning, and we did a lot of texturing. We got these really detailed, really puffy 3D things going on. We made some kiwi this morning. Let's see if I turn that. Can you tell that it's the different shades of green on there? We used some candy. We did some with icing. We practiced our little ant bodies. And I told you that's so funny with that chair floating behind me. Let me see if I back up a little in the chair, if it will stop picking that up, or if it, no, I think we're just going to have those. So the software system that I use, I did a bunch of updates to it today. So you're seeing the texture great. It's just some of the colors are slightly off. So we'll see if we can't get that fixed again. But these should be little black ant bodies. We were practicing on here. That's mainly what this particular template was for. And I told you, depending on your icing, they may or may not pop off. But look at this, you guys. Mine came off so easy. Literally just popped right off. Look at that. So we will be using these on the cookies tonight. So let me set that up there. Then remember, we did some lemon slices. We did a couple little ones and a larger one. Those have set up nicely. Then we did these beautiful sculpted strawberries. I'm going to slowly turn this so you can see how much dimension we got. And using a very thick consistency icing, we got those beautiful leaves. We used little black nonpareils to make our strawberry seeds. And then the other thing we worked on was some of the, isn't that funny? Huh. Some of that looks green and some of it looks tan, but it's really dark green and lime green. So then we made our little watermelon slices too, because we're having ants on a picnic. So I told you earlier, we were just going to use some cookies that I already had ready to go. We were going to do some airbrushing tonight, and then we were going to add our pieces. So these are just some of the sample cookies. I'm going to see if let me just do one other thing, you guys. I'm going to see if I turn this down, if it will readjust, read the proper color. Let me see. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens here. It might. Earlier, it was just spot on perfect, but now it's still a little off. But I'll take actual pictures and post them so you can see it. But this was just an extra t-shirt cookie that I had. So I went ahead and did my airbrushing, added my ant. And remember earlier today, we discussed that we were going to come back and directly on the cookie using an edible ink marker. This is linked in your supply list. We were going to do the legs and the little antenna and then just make this cute little shirt because we're just going to make a fun set. Then I made this little guy. This is one of our leftover American flag cookies. Now, when I actually make these to sell, these are going to be on plaque from a plaque cutter, plaque cookie shape. Oh, let me take that comment off, you guys. Connecticut probably does not want to be up here through the whole video. So let me just pop that off if I can get to it. So funny. Maybe I can find it. Let's see. Let's see if I missed any questions between now and then as well. All right, I see. Oh, and hey, Robin, I forgot you were in sunny Florida. Thank you for posting all the links, Jennifer. Hey, West Texas. Hi, Dale. Dale is also in Canada. The lemon texture, so much fun. I really enjoyed doing those, and the strawberries. Really love that. Okay, so hey, Sally, how are you doing? So these are leftover shapes, but the American flag is so cute because you can turn it and it actually looks like a blanket. So it's a great cookie to use if you have extra and you've frozen them. You can pull them out and use them. So we just have a few of our fruit royal icing transfers attached, and then our little ant. And we did our little trail like I told you we would do, like our bee cookies had been previously. So what we're going to do tonight, I'm going to go ahead and do some airbrushing using the magnets because the plaque cutter. Are you guys okay if I take that coffee site down? Jen has posted it in the comments for you. So I'm going to take that little banner down so we have a little bit more screen space. So if you need it later, you can definitely go back and watch from the beginning of the video once we post it again. So you'll be able to see that. And that is an artist site where you are able to buy things that help support my live streams. Like today, we had a packet of the royal icing transfer templates, and we had a lot of them. I feel like there's 10 or 11 of them in there for $10. So they're basically half price because I normally charge $2 per transfer sheet. And then the free supply list is also in that bundle, or separately, if you just wanted the supply list for this project, it's up all by itself for free. If you want to make a donation or buy me a sweet tea, there's an area there for you to do that. If you just want to grab that supply list, it does have clickable links. So that is all up there for you. So what we're going to concentrate on tonight is doing a little bit of airbrushing. And is Judy here tonight? Has Judy Pacina jumped on? Judy, if you're here, please say hello. Once she is here, someone flash me over in that little area. Let me know that she's jumped on. I wanted to say a huge thank you to her. She sent me a gift. Look what she sent me, you guys. Hot pink airbrush. How cool is that? So this arrived at the store. Judy is here, Jen? Is she here? Can you see her? Thank you so much, Miss Judy. This is so fabulous. So she got me one and she ordered herself one. And now we are going to airbrush the world together, right? Make it a more beautiful place with edible airbrush. So this is the hot pink one. We're going to be trying this out tonight. One of the things that I love about my airbrushes is that they're single action, which is great on a cordless because they have less pressure. So I don't find that I need the dual action. The dual action adjusts the air, but I find that I really have only ever needed that for cakes and things like that. If it is, if it's corded, a plug-in, it's just a much stronger stream of air. These are a much lighter stream of air. I love this. It's got a nice shape, so it's easy to hold. The charger's here and plugs right into a USB port. Absolutely fabulous. And also, if you guys are in the market for an airbrush, I do have a clickable link posted in your supply list of same one in black on Amazon. Really great price on it right now. This is a silver colored well for your ink. The only thing I would caution you is don't get one of these with a black inkwell, because once you put the color in, it's very difficult to see how much color is in there and what color is in there. So we're going to do that in just a minute, but I do want to show you this real quick. The stencil is showing up red because I've already done a little airbrushing. So let me just show you what I did to make a makeshift stencil tonight, because my stencil holder is a little bit small for this big plaque cookie. Let's move up just a little bit here. It's a little bit small for that. And it's a little bit too small even if I turn it this way, even if I got really creative. Hey, Mary Jean, how are you doing? Hey, Elizabeth. Hi, Michelle. So instead, I pulled out my magnets. And if you guys watched any of the episodes previously, I did an episode where I picked up lots of things at the Dollar Tree that were handy for new cookiers. Because, you know, you don't need to buy all the things that everyone likes and that we all use. You don't need them all right when you first get started. You can get by with some lesser things. And then when you upgrade your supplies, hey, Missy, then you can pass those things on to a cookie friend and bring somebody else in to cookie with you. So you can start with something a little bit smaller and just make sure you like it. Now, if you've noticed here, do you see this little piece of material that's across my stencil? I had mentioned about 2 weeks ago that I had ordered in some screen printing material because it works great to hold your stencils down in place, so that because this is such a thin stencil with the stripes, it tends to blow when you're doing your airbrushing. And I didn't want it to lift and get a bunch of underspray. I wanted really nice, crisp gingham lines like this so that it looked like a picnic tablecloth. Isn't that so cute? How pretty is that? And how great would this be done in pink for a baby shower, or blue for a baby shower, or to actually yellow if you're doing a lemonade stand? This would be so cute to use this stencil. So we're going to jump in right away and start with that. But I'm trying out this screen print mesh over the top. Now, the reason it is not posted on your supply list is because I have not used it before, other than a few minutes ago when I put the sample cookies together. So I have not posted it yet because I want to feel confident that it's a good product before I put it in the supply. I only list things in there for you guys that I've actually used or that I really like. So I'm going to be using red airbrush color tonight. I've linked that for you. Let's go ahead and get a little bit in here. I'm using about 5 or 6 drops. It's not going to take that much for what we're doing. Now, this one we're going to do with just the magnets holding it in place. Hey, Milagros, how are you doing tonight? But in a minute, we'll switch over. We're going to do a couple other cookies, just basics. We're going to do another t-shirt and a blanket. We'll do those. Hey, Allison, I'm glad you made it. Now, I haven't done this before on a large plaque cookie like this. So if I see that it's wavering or buckling at all, I'm just going to use the non-blunt or non-sharp. I'm going to use this blunt side. I don't want to use this to hold it down because I don't want to risk poking through the icing if my icing maybe is a little fresh and I'm trying to do this. Or I don't want to puncture my stencil. If I was using one of the fondant needle scribes that you guys know that I like, they're super sharp. I don't want to ruin my stencil. So just start good habits and then you'll be able to continue on that way. So we're going to start and we're going to see what happens, okay? You guys, if there's questions, pop them in over on the side. And Judy, thank you again. I absolutely love this present that you sent me. It's fabulous. All right, so what I'm doing, guys, you don't want to do too much color at once if you're not familiar with airbrushing. You want to build up in slow, light layers, especially on something that's like a stripe, because there's so much opening. You don't want the ink, the edible ink, to pool up, right? And you don't want a bunch of underspray. Now, to me, this screen print is holding it perfectly in place. It's not moving at all like it did a couple of weeks ago on me. It's not moving at all. It looks fabulous to me. So there are different, if you didn't know this, I was not aware of this, but there are different weights, gauges, mesh, something on these screen printing. So this exact one was recommended to me on another cookie site, this weight that I bought, or gauge, whatever it actually is called. So I'm going to post the exact one that I'm using if it turns out well for us, okay? Hey, Vicki, how are you doing tonight? So I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to lift straight up. I'm not even undoing the magnets because the magnets are what's weighting it down. So look how nice our lines are. Isn't that pretty? And look how crisp they are. So I know I want the gingham pattern so that it looks like a tablecloth. We want this to be fun and summery. So the magnets are holding it nicely in place. Now, I do like this. This is a little tip I'll give you guys. You may not need to do it. I just really prefer it. I like to, instead of running with the stripe, I like to go back and forth. I find it gives me crisper lines. It could all be in my head. It's just that I find that this doesn't make and maybe it won't matter now that I'm using screen mesh, but I found previously that this kept my stripe. If you don't have the screen printing mesh, this kept my stripes from flopping up and down and getting a lot of underspray by going sideways instead of with the grain, so to speak. I hope that makes sense. And I'm probably about 3 inches back from the cookie, and I'm building up again slow, low layers. I'm not too heavy-handed with any of this. And also I did really heavy stripes the first pass. I'm not going to do as heavy the second time. And the reason I'm not going to build up as many layers is because, you know, in those tablecloths, one of the little red squares is always just a smidge lighter and one of them is a smidge darker. So hopefully we've captured that. Look, I think that's great. Look, guys, isn't that pretty? And we have nice clean lines. We have that little bit of faded. Okay, so my screen mesh, Shelly, is over my stencil to hold it in place. So let me undo it because now we're going to put it into the stencil holder and we're going to go ahead and finish up the airbrushing while we're working on this. So I'm going to take the magnets off and let me do that on camera so you can see it's just a stack of magnets. These have never been used for anything else. If they had been, they would have been cleaned and sanitized and then kept separately. They specifically were purchased for when I needed to do creative things like this. So, and they're just from the dollar store. This whole pack, what I just used was enough to get this to the proper height. So you can see the little screen mesh was on top. Stencil is underneath, okay? Now what we're going to do is pull in our little pink stencil frame, and this is linked for you. Also, the Genie Stencil Company, they just came out. If anybody's on here and wants to drop the link in, that would be great. But they just came out with, if you have the pink stencil holder from Genie's, they just came out with an extra screen that you can buy. That got crooked. Let me pay attention to what I'm doing. Let me get my stripe straight. Otherwise, it could go crooked on our cookie. And then what I'm doing is just tightening up the screen by giving it a little tug in there just to make sure it's in good shape. But anyway, they just came out with a new piece that's like an insert that you can, and somebody's on the train listening to us. Who's on the commuter train? I'm not sure. Somebody's on the train again listening. So that's kind of fun. Yeah. So the magnets are on the bottom and then my stencil, then my piece of silk screen to hold my stencil in place, then another magnet. Then I put it right on the cookie for my oversized cookie. But what I prefer to use is the stencil holder because it's fabulous and I love it. All right. So we're going to just quickly come and do a few of these. We're going to see how far we can go without refilling our ink. And again, remember, I like to go sideways over my stripes instead of running with it. It seems to be working great with this silk screening mesh on here. This is fabulous. Now, guys, I think I bought, it's huge. It's a huge piece of this. So I just cut out one square because I wanted to be able to wash these in between use and not just have the one. So I just bought it to try it to see if it was worth investing in the one that's in the holder. So I probably will upgrade to the one in the holder. So when I get a hold of that, we'll do a product demo. But look how pretty. Let's go up just a little bit for you. Now we're going to turn the other way. And we are doing a gingham pattern because it's supposed to look like a tablecloth. All right, I'm going to rotate my cookie again. And I'm going to go sideways. Again, this could all be in my head, but for me, I find less movement of my stripes in the stencil if I do it this direction. And also remember, I'm doing light, low layers so that the color does not build up and pool up on the stencil or on the cookie. I'm also getting as directly above the stencil as I can for the airbrushing so that I'm not going to have underspray underneath that stencil. That's how we're getting those really pretty nice crisp lines. Now we're going to lift straight up. Oh, and look, it looks good. It looks just like a tablecloth or a blanket. So let's slide that over. How do you guys feel about doing a t-shirt? Would you like to see the t-shirt? How easy this would be for you to do? All right, let's go. I'm going to do it this way first. Nope, I'm not. I'm going to do it this way because then I can go side to side before I rotate again. And the weight of this is really just pulling the stencil down. So I am really happy with the with this stencil holder and using it with the mesh. And what I was going to tell you was it was a huge roll for like $9 or $10. I won't need to buy any more of this for quite some time, I can tell you. I was very shocked at how much actually arrived. And this is so nice. I don't know if you can actually tell on camera, but my stencil is not moving at all under here. Now I am going to go ahead and do the gingham on this entire piece, But if you don't want to, this is a stripe stencil. You could just do stripes if you want. Like if you wanted to have more of an American flag look, you could just do the stripes, okay? So, oh, Cookie Countess. Is Cookie Countess the one that just made the thing, Lavelle? Somebody just made it. I don't have it yet. I don't have that thing yet. You know what I'm talking about? That fits in their frame. Somebody just made it. Now, this is the one thing when you're doing a t-shirt that I would caution you on. Pay attention to your design. And if it's a really particular design and you need it to be centered, before you set it down, just decide whether you want like that stripe directly in the middle or whether you want it to be open right there in the middle before you set it in place, okay? Because for a lot of people, that little bit, if that's off and it's not one or the other, it's going to bother them when they're looking at the cookie, unless you put so much on there that they can't see it. But we all know there's a good stopping point when you're doing cookies, right? We don't want to overdo a cookie. We want just enough on there. And hopefully when we're doing cookies for sale, we're able to get a fantastic, did I turn that right? I sure hope I did. We hopefully have just the right amount on there of the mesh. Okay, Sally, I was saying that I hadn't linked it yet because I was just trying it tonight. This is the first time I've tried it. And the silk screen is on top of the stencil, so it holds the stencil in place. So I will drop it in there for you. But I just wanted to make sure that this was the proper gauge on the material and that it worked well. What was I telling you before that? So anyway, yeah, we don't want to torment the OCD people. So we're basically just going for this whole picnic looking theme, even though we're doing it on unusual cookies, right? We're doing a blanket, we're doing a t-shirt, and then we have the large plaque. And if you guys will bear with me for 1 second, I just want to put some water, my distilled water from my little spray bottle that I use to thin my icing. I just want to put a little in here so that this does not dry up while we're moving on with the next part of the project. My sink is not close by, so I don't want anything to gum that up. I love that, Judy. If you're on here, thank you again for thinking of me and sending me a hot pink airbrush. I was like, what's that? I didn't order anything. And then when I opened it, I had been helping her with which airbrush gun to get. And I showed her the one that I have that I really like. And then I was like, but the next one I'm getting is this hot pink one, of course, because it's the same gun, but it's hot pink. And then one showed up and I was just so touched. It was very special. I will keep it forever and I love it. So let's take a look at this before we decide what we're doing next. Let's get all these in frame for you. And let me show you what I did a little bit earlier. So we have this cool pattern. We made the little pocket. We did some hand drawing, a bow tie and some edging. So this will get you guys started. I normally would not do this on a t-shirt, but I happen to have these cookies done. So I thought for photos, it would be fun to just go ahead and finish them off. But then this is our blanket. And what we did on this one was I added some grass, which we're going to do on these. And we had our ant and we did our little ant trail that's similar to the same way that we did our bee markings for our bee buzzes. Right? How cute is that? And then I added a couple of the bits of fruit. And I really want to lift this fruit to show you because this was the most, let me see if I can get it where you can see it. This lemon turned out absolutely perfect. It's a great height. It's super textured. Let me see if I can get you to focus in here again. There we go. Can you see that? So before we start on anything else, we're going to come back to these and we're going to do these cookies. However, I have some Everclear here. Can you guess what we're about to do? Because I just really want you to see what it looks like. When we did our product reveal the other night, we talked about a new company that I ordered some products from called Bakel, and we ordered some dusts. So what I'm going to do tonight, I have a couple of dusts here. We've got neon yellow, we've got the pumpkin orange, and we've got sunflower yellow. So I did up a bunch of extra ones of these earlier. I'm going to show you what it looks like, all three of these colors dry dusted on the lemon so that you can see what each of them looks like. Then we're going to go back and we're going to add a little Everclear and paint with it, okay? And you guys can go back and watch that video. I think I demoed almost every color that I have. Now, apparently there's 40 colors and I only have 21 of the colors. So, and I thought I had them all open, but apparently I didn't open them all, or I grabbed my duplicate jars. How fun is this? It was such a great sale too. Most of the things were, I don't know, weren't they like, Jen, you're on here, weren't they like 30 or 40% off? And then you got free shipping if you ordered a certain amount. And then you got, let's pull this down so you can see them. That'll be more fun for you. Then on top of that, you got a Father's Day surprise in there. All right, so I have my little towel here. I have a dry brush here. We're going to start with the Tinker Dust that is neon yellow. I'm just going to pick some up. And let's just do it on one of our textured lemons just to see. Oh, so pretty. Can you see? You see the sparkle already? How nice is that? Now that is just, obviously, because we went back and sculpted this and textured it, you could not put the sparkle on in this particular case. If you Myra, you bought 42 colors of Tinker Dust. I'm so jelly. Oh my goodness. That's so fun. How much fun. So you'll have to get on and share some of your colors. Let me know your favorites. Normally you could pump this right onto them when they're wet. So we could have done that, but I wanted to see how this product worked if I combined it with Everclear. So let's do our two yellows. This next yellow, what did I tell you this one was? This is sunflower. So let's just do the sunflower. I don't see that big a difference between the two yellows in this case when we're doing dry dusting, but let's see what this orange does, this pumpkin orange. Let's see if that gives us some cool texture on the yellow and makes it just a little fun, like, you know, like an actual lemon might look, because, you know, they're not all the same color. And actually, I think it's giving it it's giving it a nice look in the crevices, and that's just with dry dusting, okay? But then what I wanted to experiment with, I couldn't find a video if anybody had used the Tinker Dust with Everclear. So we're going to try that. But you can see even with the dry dusting, you're getting some nice, it adds another layer of dimension to your lemons. So you saw they were all initially the same color, and you can see they're reading 3 very different colors now. So we're going to go back. Let me put the lids on this, okay? What we're going to do is right on top of the ones we just dusted, we're going to act like we're painting them. Also, quick reminder, if you didn't watch the product video, when you take that sealed part off, just push it down in the lid because it creates a nice barrier so that you don't spill a lot of your dust. All right, let's go here. And I just use a scribe at the end of the paintbrush. You can use the end of your paintbrush to push it down in there, but keep that. It creates a nice seal around the outer rim. And then I put a little bit of Everclear in a plastic container earlier because I just want to see what this does. Now, I want to rinse out that orange. We obviously don't want to get every single one of them in the pumpkin orange. And the pumpkin orange is so nice because it's already like a burnt color. It's not bright orange. So very nice antiquing. So now my brush is clear. We're going to pick up a little bit of that. We're going to go back to the first one. And we're just going to see what that does. If that adheres it, does it change how it looks? I just want to see what it does to the product. All right, then let's go to the second one. This was a lemon that we didn't really texture. This was one of the ones we did smooth in case you needed low profile for bagging and you didn't want to worry about anything chipping off. So it's okay. It does change it a little bit, but I think where we're going to see the biggest difference is on test number 3. It's perfect. It's like you've done watercolor painting on your lemon. Can you see how it just makes it run right down in the crevices? So you get that nice dimension. How pretty is that? Let me just pull this extra off. Okay, so I do really like that. I'll show you up close after we attach it to a cookie. For what I'm going to do right now, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and pop off all the pieces we made earlier. And let me show you 2 ways to do that. You saw what I just did with my boo-boo stick where I can just scrape them off, like literally get underneath them and then they pop loose and I just pick them up. It's that easy if they're dry. Can you see that? But the other great thing about these cello bags is this. you can go into the bag, pull out your template and your piece of cardstock. Of course, that's going to make your bag loose. And then all you have to do is actually curl the bag and they come right off that way too. So if you have anything that's particularly delicate, these are really great for that, for doing your royal icing transfers like that. So I'm going to go ahead and pop off the things that we made earlier, and then we're just going to play for a minute, okay? But these were in the dehydrator probably half an hour after we finished up this morning. I finished these, popped them in the dehydrator. They've been in the dehydrator since then. It wasn't running the whole time, though. I just ran it about a half an hour to give them a little head start on setting up. So that worked out great. All right, and then we've got our lime slices here. Aren't those so cute? Now, I will be taking these bags and just a little bit of water, clearing them off and reusing them. But if you're doing a whole bunch of these and you don't want to do that, they're cheap enough. You can just throw them away. I just like to try to reuse them when they're not that messy. But at Christmas time, that doesn't happen. At Christmas time, I just make the transfers, get them dry, take them off, store them, and then I just get a different bag. It's just faster. Less chance I'm going to cross colors or use a bag on something that someone has an allergy to. Now this one, I just, on the same template, I just made the end of a watermelon because I just wanted to see what it would look like. So it's not on that template, but you could certainly do that. Now, when you're pulling things off, just make sure you keep your boo-boo stick clean so that you're not going at the side of any of these pieces with a lot of icing on your boo-boo stick, okay? Thank you so much. I have to tell you, the coffee shop is key to keeping us live streaming because it covers my time and expense for creating the live streams and the time that goes into making the transfers and all of that sort of stuff. But I am so happy to report, hold on one sec, let me read this. The silk screen helps a ton when you're using stencils with icing. Oh yeah, absolutely. When you're doing stenciling for like PYOs and they're really delicate, it will save your stencils and not tear them up. But let me go back to my happy news because I was very happy. And also don't forget, in the coffee shop, you can get this entire packet of stencils right now while they're at the discounted price. I did a whole packet for you because this was supposed to be over 2 weeks, but we've lost a week, and I'm starting my new summer series next week called Tiki Hot, and we're going to be carrying that forward. By the time we get that series done, you're going to have an entire collection of custom, and their cutters are being custom made for me by Dots and Bows. So thank you so much, Katrina and Carrie. You guys have helped me out again. So excited. We have some beautiful designs coming for you. But in the coffee shop, see, did you see it earlier how I told you that these might break? So I was a little rough with that one. And I knew these were going to be delicate because we're trying to keep them in a straight line. So I did just smash one. It could be put back together because it literally snapped in between, but I made so many of them, I'm just going to set it off to the trash pile over here. But my happy news is that I had my best day. The coffee shop, Jen's got the link posted right above you, Donna, to go. It's ko-fi.com/seriously sweet. It'll take you right to the things that I have for sale, or there's a place there to just make a donation if you like watching the live streams, but you don't actually need any of the templates or any of that stuff. You can just buy me a sweet tea. But anyway, it's instrumental in keeping this going. And there's 2 times a month where I pay for the streaming software that I'm using, and then I pay for the texting service because that seems to be helping tremendously while Facebook is in the middle of all their updates. Everybody's getting those text alerts so nicely. So anyway, I just try to keep everything covered with that. And you guys are, I don't know if this is the right word, but I'll just say you're the bomb diggity. I can't believe it. But today was my first time to do a 2-part Tuesday tutorial. And I had my best day in my coffee shop that I have ever had. So I was super excited that within just minutes of finishing up with you guys earlier today, that you had jumped on and done so much. It was so awesome. Thank you, because I really love doing these. And the thing that I have planned for you this summer, I think it's going to be fantastic. I cannot wait for you guys to see what's coming. I can't wait. And the reason you guys are going to love it is because I planned it. So it's going to cover 2 special group projects that I'm going to be working on that are in private groups this summer. Plus, it's going to cover our Tuesday 2-part tutorials. But you're going to be using, first of all, the whole collection goes together. So I designed it so all of your cutters go together. If you are also a cake person, you're going to really love this set because all of the cutters that are going to be available are all oversized. So you're going to be able to use them for cake toppers too. Because they're oversized, if you do a little bit thicker dough when you're doing this, you're going to be able to bake them on a cookie stick, and you'll be able to use them for all of your summer cakes. Every single one of the cutters is very, very different. The whole series is named Tiki Hot. So you'll be using the same dry dust. You're going to be using the same airbrush colors. You're going to be using the same gel colors. And Dots and Bows was so awesome that they're going to put the entire set together. And if you buy the whole set at one time, then you're going to get a discount off the entire set, or you can just pick out the ones that you want to do. Okay. But it's going to be so fun. It's called Tiki Hot. We're going to be starting with that next Tuesday to get us started, because I was very late on getting them the info because I started it a month earlier than I had planned to. So I was very late on getting it to Carrie. She's working on it really hard. But next week, you may just start with the template. I may just give you the template in the coffee shop with your supply list. That way you can start from that one and not miss it. But then you're going to be able to buy the cutter later. The cutters will be, Myra, in the Dots and Bows store. They have a special section for the custom things that they make for me. I can't remember what the label is, but it's something that starts with an S, and I will put the link in here for you once the cutters are available. But they are going to have all the cutters in there sold individually. I think they're going to put up the STL files if you can print your own cutters. And they're also going to have a discounted price if you buy the whole set at one time. And that way you'll have all the same, you'll be using the same gels, the same dry dust, the same airbrush color. So it's all going to come together, but they're all very different designs. Super excited about them. It's going to be so much fun for summer. And it's called Tiki Hot. So I think you guys are going to love it. So these are the ones I put together earlier. Now we have popped off all of our bits, all of our royal icing transfers that we made earlier. Now at the dollar store, you guys, they sell these little boxes. They're about this big. They have dividers, 2 dividers this way, 4 this way. When I do a project like this, I always make extra. So let's see, are you in the, yeah, everybody get in the Cookie Snack Attack group so that you don't miss that. Also, bye, Allison. You have a good night. But anyway, I always get those containers. They're only $1. It allows, they're not sealed, but with royal icing transfers, you don't typically want them to be totally airtight. They need a little air coming and going. Myra, you're going to need to get a job for your hobby. Well, the hobby should be your side hustle. So that's what we're working on. We want you to make a little money with your side hustle. Okay. Hey, Julie. So anyway, I get one of those for each of my projects so that if I just get in the groove, it's late, you can pop so many of these out so quickly. I make extra and then I keep them all in there. That way I don't have to make these every time I come to do a set of summer cookies. So we're going to just we'll be organizing all this in that manner too. Okay. So let's slide that out of the way. The one we're going to do tonight is this large plaque cookie. Now, you know, we just airbrushed it. I'm touching it. It's not even tacky. It's not smearing. That's how quick that it dried. Okay. So let's come up here a little bit. We're going to use a thick consistency icing, probably a 30-35 seconds. I've cut the bag. Let me do this so you can see it in the camera. Can you see that I've cut? Let me squeeze some out there. I've cut the bag to look like that chicken beak. So it looks like a bird is pecking. Let me show you. Can you see? Oh, yeah, there you go. So you can see how I cut the bag, right? And it basically makes a fake leaf tip, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just taking, by the way, this looks great on a chocolate cookie too, because then you don't even see the airbrush overspray. But I'm just using this and doing little blades of grass, just little tuffets of grass around my cookies so I can have that real pretty color. And over here on the points, I'm doing it straight up and down because it's not intended to look like floral leaves. It's just to make little tufts of grass around my cookie. So cute, right? Picnic. You've got your blanket down. How cute would this be for your 4th of July barbecues, for a baby Q shower, for a little boy's denim? I recently did one for Ryder that was cowboy themed. This would have been so cute for a couple of his plaque cutters. I didn't have the stencil at the time though. So glad. If we get done with this cookie in a GIF, or actually, you know what? I'm not going to say that because I'm going to save that. I got a delivery of the stencils that I told you about that were on sale with Cookie Countess. They're here. I'm saving the package to open with you guys for a product reveal. I know there's some really cool stuff in there, but I'm going to save that for another night this week. That way we can spend our time tonight specifically on these cookies. Now, the reason I'm doing this grass first is because I like to have a balance of colors on my cookies. So this has an awful lot of red, even though we have a light area of red because we didn't put the color down as heavy and we have a darker area. I like to just get balance in my bright colors. And I want to make sure that I don't put too much on the cookies. So this is not the thing that I want to be doing last. So I've got my little tuffets of grass down. Let me lift that so you can see what I'm talking about. It's just basically all straight up and down. It's on the edge of the little blanket. Now, right here, I've got bits of blanket sticking out, and that's not really what it would look like. So I'm just going to come over here and bring a little bit more and cover those edges. Do you see what I'm talking about? Right. It's okay if it looks like the blanket is coming up on, the grass is coming up onto the blanket, but it doesn't quite read the way I want it to when I've just got grass on top of the blanket and then blanket poking out. That's not really what we want. So just take a second before you go too far, rotate your cookie, check for the side details, anything that would be distracting from your design. And if you guys do these cookies, please tag me like you've been tagging me with the balloon cookies, because I'm just getting such a kick out of seeing everybody else's interpretation of things that they're learning. It's so much fun for me to see that. So I really enjoy it. Just makes my teacher heart happy. So what do you think, guys? Let's take a quick look at these. Hello. Hello. How are you guys doing tonight? Hi, Elizabeth. Okay, so earlier, I piped this little guy. You see my little picnic basket? How do you guys feel about a picnic basket on here? And we'll maybe put the picnic basket up in this area, and then we'll add some fruit in the basket, a little bit of fruit over in the corner, and then we'll have one ant. And that basically gives us 3 areas. So we have that odd placement, that odd number. How cute is this little basket? I was just fooling around with this with a tipless bag, so nothing fancy. You definitely could do this. And I just had this extra cookie, so I did it right on here. So how about we do that, okay? Hey, Mary, how are you doing tonight? So I used, I think, warm brown to get this color. You could do it in ivory. You could do it what I thought would be super pretty. Do you guys have any whitewash baskets that you really like for summertime? And they're so beautiful with like blue dish towels or red and white dish towels in them for your 4th of July barbecues, and then you fill them full of rolls or biscuits or something like that for your parties. So I thought it would be super pretty to do this and then go back with some white food gel and whitewash it. So that's something I'm going to try. I may do it on the cookie after our video's over, but that would also add another layer of dimension to this by getting some coloring down in there. Also, you could go the other way and you could use a dark brown, thin it out with some Everclear and do some painting. And that would also give you a nice aged look. But let's take a look at how I created that, okay? Some people are going to be space challenged. I know that you're not good with shapes. So let's talk through how you construct that picnic basket, because it really is worth it. It's so cute on these cookies. I'm going to use my edible ink marker so it'll show up good for you on camera. And I'm just going to give you a couple tips when you're drawing. So I started with, and I didn't mean to do that end, so let's start with the little end. I started with the lid. So I just basically started with 2 straight lines, same length, running parallel to each other. And this is going to be my basket lid. Okay. Then what I did was I said, okay, well, if my lid looked like this, then what I would do is I would be coming off the back of this, coming straight down, right, for the back part of my basket, because we're doing a shape here. Then what this is going to be the inside opening, and I want to run another line that's parallel to all three of these, and I'm going to come at an angle and connect this piece, okay? You probably can't tell what I'm doing yet, but in just a minute, you're going to see it. So then over here, I want to just come at a slight angle. I want to run another line. All of my main lines are all parallel to each other. I want to come down here. Then I'm going to come on the back of the basket. I'm going to come off at the same angle as this line and then connect those. So there I have this really cool little basket, right? It looks like a picnic basket and the lid would fold over. So on my cookie, what I'm going to do, I normally would do this on a piece of tissue and transfer it, but I'm going to try to freehand it for you guys tonight. So just looking at this, I'm just going to mark my corners. Just what we roughly just did, because we need to put some icing in the back. We need to smear some brown icing in the back so that when we do the basket weave over it, it shows up okay. All right, hold on one sec. Let's get a little angle going here. Keep this lined up. Keep this line parallel. We're going to come down, coming down, coming down. All three of these legs are all the same length. They're just coming off different corners. We're going to connect all that. This is the part we're going to do basket weave on, where these X's are, in case you come back to watch the video later. But right now, we just need to get some tan down on there and then scrape off the excess. We can paint it on if you want to. So we might try that since we've already airbrushed. I may just squeeze a little icing on here. Okay. And we just want to coat that back instead of scraping. We'll just pick some of this up. Let's see how this works. If it doesn't work, we'll go to the other way, but I think this might do it. And we basically just want to get this brown. It doesn't even have to be smooth, you guys, but we want to cover up what's on the cookie, right? And we don't want to add a lot of water because we don't want a big mushy mess of the black and the red where I use the black marker. Now, typically, you know, when I am on my videos, I don't use black marker when I'm creating things for customers, because I don't want to have to worry about that bleeding through the cookie or causing a problem in the design in any way. I typically use the same color under that I'm going to be icing above so that it blends in case I don't quite fully cover it. Why am I doing this? I am doing this to get us a solid surface since we already airbrushed the cookie. I just want something behind our basket weave because I'm not going to do a super tight basket weave. Another day, I'll come on and show you how to do a basket where you do this basket in segments. So you do each section separate so they don't marry together as the icing is healing up. And then you can use your edible ink marker and you can just draw on your lines. You don't even have to go back and do this piping. So if the piping intimidates you, I can come back on another time and show you how to take care of this, okay? So I'm basically just getting a low layer on here. I'm not adding a lot of water because I don't want all the airbrush to start popping up. Although in this case, it works to my advantage because if it does come up and come into the color, it's only going to add an antique look to this brown because it's a red underneath. So either way, I'm fine. I often plan projects specifically with those kind of things in mind. So if I'm going fast or there's a mishap or something, it's not going to be as noticeable. It's going to look like it was part of the design. Let's do a little bit more. And we're going to do, I just think these picnic baskets are so cute. They just really look nice. I know this looks messy, but it's okay because it's supposed to look like a split oak basket. Do you guys collect baskets? Anybody else but me? I have a ton of Longabergers. I've actually been collecting particular ones, the ones that looked very old-fashioned in style, and Shenandoah egg baskets and things like that. I have some very old antique baskets that I adore. You can't get them anymore. They were handmade by local artists in the hills of Virginia. The Longabergers I've been collecting since I was 18. So I am a basket person, but I don't just keep them and put them up on display. I actually use them I love them. They're very handy. I use them when we have cookouts and barbecues and things like that. Of course, no one's had a lot of that in the last year, but we all hope to get back to that, right? All right, so now I've got some nice texture. Not worried that I haven't fully covered the black lines. Jen, I'm going to go with the fact that we have candy and the royal icing transfers. I'm not going to add any on the cookie, but I'll just warn you guys, or maybe I'll help you. I'm not sure which, but they do make candy in the summertime, little candy sprinkles that are supposed to look like watermelons, avocados, lemons. And you can buy those and just attach those to the cookie if you don't want to make the little royal icing transfers, right? So you have some other things you could do. But let's quickly go back. Let me grab a piece of paper towel. Let me grab a piece of paper towel. This is cut to such a fine point. Can you see how small that is? It's like the equivalent to a number 1 tip. All right. And let's go ahead and put down an outline around our picnic basket. And I'm going to do 2 high. I'm going to do 1 line right on top of the other. This is going straight on top of that black line. That's why I wasn't worried about getting all the way to the edge of that line, because I knew this was going to sit on top of it. And I'm basically building a frame. So my icing is thick enough that I'm doing 1 line on top of the other line, and it's building up an area for me. So if you don't feel comfortable going back and doing the basket weave, you can also do that as well. You can just do these lines and then you can come back and do the drawing. So I'm just going back where we had traced that shape, and you can rewind the video and watch how we created our shape. You can also copy that, print it out, and then you can put it on using a projector or using the tissue transfer method that I showed you a few weeks ago. So you've got lots of ways to get the design onto your cookie. I'm going to show you how to do the basket weave like what I did in my 3D Take to the Skies balloon project. I'm going to show you how to do that, but without a basket tip on your bag. We're going to do it just with a regular tipless bag cut to about an opening of a 1 point cake tip, okay? Decorator tip. So you can see we have that smeared area in the back. We've got some texture going on. We've now gone back and we've outlined. I want to put a little more here because I see a little smudge. That's going to bother me later when I go to photograph the cookie. So just indulge me for a second while we fix that. I'm going to start on the front because I think it's going to be the easiest thing to show you. And I usually start in the middle. I'm also going to angle this cookie so that it's easier for me to work on. All right. And I'm also holding my bag in the middle, so it's less icing that I have to push from here to the end so my hand doesn't start to hurt on me, because this is really thick icing. So I'm coming down at the same angle in the center. I found the center of the line, and I'm coming down to the second line with the same angle. And then I'm going to cross over it with just 2 lines running parallel to the upper and lower line. Okay. Can you see that? Then I'm going to come straight here. I'm going to come straight over this. Okay. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to go right beside that center line, and I'm going to cross over the next one that I just put down, and you can already see it starting to take shape. Now, then I'll be flipping this. I'll be doing the same thing here, but I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me on a basket weave to work left to right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to finish this whole side, then we're going to go back and do the other side. The reason we started in the middle is for our OCD friends and family. We want it to look right so that we could get it centered, okay? So I'm going to come back and do the line. Then I'm going to come back in my open areas, and I'm just going to cross over. And you can see my icing is a perfect consistency for this. It is not healing. It's not marrying together. It's staying right where I put it. So I have this nice design. You guys, this is so fabulous in the summertime to do those cool straw hats. This is the exact icing and pretty much the color that you need to accomplish that. Now, while I'm here, so I don't have to turn the cookie again, I'm going to find the center. I'm going to do 2 lines. I'm going to come in here and cover the end of those lines. Then I'm going to go back from the corner and come in. Okay, and I will photograph this up close for you just in case this isn't exactly making sense, okay? Now let's flip it around, get back to my right-handed self. Am I in frame? Okay, good. I'm trying to work with my bag tilted instead of straight up and down. For you, it's going to be easier to work straight up and down. You'll find that's a lot easier, okay? So let's get this connected. And of course, we're skipping that space in the middle. We're keeping the up and down line parallel to our edge lines. We're keeping the lines that are crossing over parallel to the top and bottom. This also makes a beautiful, if you have any Father's Day cookies left to do and the dad's into fishing, this weave is great on fishing baskets. I think they're called, is it creels? Is that what they're called? This looks very good on those baskets as well. See that? All right, now let's go ahead and flip it. Let's find the center. So you can start to see now we've done this on, this is our third section. You can start to see what it looks like and how we're creating it. That goes over top of the ends of the other two. It helps a lot if you have baskets in your house so you can look at them before you start piping. Then you're going to get the up and down and the alternating sections and all that. It just kind of helps your brain work out what you're creating here. So definitely take a look online if you don't have any baskets in your house. This is a little bit different than the balloon basket because in the balloon basket, we use the tip that's about 1/4 inch wide and it has the striping in it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Ruffle or points in there. So it's rigid looking when it comes out. So that's also in the balloon supply list if you want to check that out. It's totally different look. That one actually looks more like a split oak basket where they strip the panels off the oak to do it. This ends up looking more like a grapevine basket when you're done by doing it this way. Okay, so how cute is that? Now, what do you think? I think we should put our textured lemon, and I think we should put a strawberry in there, and I like to have 3s. So how about we pop in a slice of watermelon too, okay? Let's try those things. And what I'm going to do is just use the red and the yellow on the back of these in case any of the color squishes out. And I'm going to start on the far right. And you can see I'm not attaching very much to this at all. When this dries, it's not going to come off the cookie. So we're just going to tuck that in like it's popping out of the basket. Isn't that cute? All right, let's grab the yellow. I'm just purging the tip off to the side. Let's put our lemon in here. Oh, you know what, you guys? I think that I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to put the lemon in here so that it looks like it's also coming fully out of the basket, so it's layered. And then I think I'm going to put the strawberry like it fell out. That's cute, right? And we're again working in 3s. I don't know if you noticed or not, but we did 3 panels on our basket. So that's visually pleasing. We've got 3 fruits coming out of our basket. So that's visually pleasing. Now we're going to go work with one of our ants. And I think the big ant body's a little too big. So let's grab one of the babies. You could pipe this directly on the cookie and make it even smaller, but I actually like this size a lot. So I'm going to stick with it. You don't have to. You could do this right on the cookie. Jen, my fingertip, because my airbrush gel, or not gel, my airbrush food color exploded on me because I had to get a new bottle out. It exploded. It doesn't matter what I do. That stuff just has a hiccup. It burps. It does something out of the bottle and it just gets all over me. And I didn't have time to go bleach my hand before the live started. Let's see. I think this little guy, what do you think if we do him? Maybe let's do him this direction. So that takes up this space over here. He's so cute. Look at how cute he is. Okay, now I do want to look at a couple other things over here. Let's see. I think I might like to put one more strawberry on this cute little cookie, maybe just up here in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now because I want to make sure that my space is fully accounted from. But then I think at that point, if we do anything other at this point than doing his little trail where he walks across the blanket and do his legs and antenna, it'll be just too much on the cookie. So I'm going to encourage myself to stop here. You can keep going if you want, but I think on this size cookie, we've got a beautiful basket. We've got multiple fruit. We've got all kinds of stuff going on here. All right, now over in the comment field, let me know if you guys are going to be following me for the Tiki Hot series that we're about to do. I just want to know if anybody is interested in that. I am not going to tell you each of the individual pieces we're doing. I am going to tell you it's going to be fabulous for summer parties. They're also going to be useful for summer baby showers. Like I worked a lot of things in. If you like to do florals, you're really going to like florals. If you like to do royal icing transfers, you're going to like that. You're going to be creating summertime flower pieces on there too. All right, so let's jump back in and finish our ant. I'm going to pull one over here so that it's in the video for you when you go to do your drawing. This is what people often say, that they start to draw and then they just cannot figure out how it goes. So do one on a paper towel before you start on your cookie, especially if you're going to pipe it with icing. I don't normally pipe these with icing because it's such a little area. I want it to be lower so it looks like it's under the body, but I also don't want to worry about the stuff cratering because that's just a nightmare when you're doing a bunch of these cookies. Probably tomorrow when you see this cookie photographed, I am going to have gone back and whitewashed this basket because I want to knock it down. I want to knock the tone down just a little bit. So I'm using my edible ink marker. Okay, and I'm going to start at the head because these are really easy to do, just to do some little curved antenna. Now, if you do scrapbooking, you know, when you do scrapbook lettering, they always have you do this cutesy stuff where you put a dot on the end of everything. So if you want to dot his antenna, dot it. The reason I do this right away is because it's so much easier to just slide this little guy up. Did you see what I just did? It's really hard to get close to his body for the antenna, and I like for the antenna to be under him. It just looks better, so that way I can just give it a little scooch before I start drawing his legs. Now you can see he's got 6 legs, so we've got a leg coming out of the first part of the body here. We've got one coming out here. Whoops! And we know that they have a little angle to give it the look like he's standing. So we have that. In the center, the legs come straight out. They're not angled. And it's a little easier for me on the sides of his body to tip that marker in and pick it up fully. And then we want to come the opposite direction for his legs, right? Now we want to really angle these back legs. We really want to angle that. And then we want this long look like this. How cute is that? Look at our little picnic ant. Isn't he sweet with all our fun fruit? So now the last thing that I want to do is I want an interest coming from the left side of the cookie to the right. So I'm going to start over here very much like we did our bee, our buzzing bee trail. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a line like he walked this area, turned around. Right? I'm going to try to stay away from his legs if it's possible. It won't hurt if you touch them, but it's nicer looking if not. And then so we have his little footprint as he went across the picnic basket. So cute. I love it. Let's turn this off. Let's turn this off. Oh, it actually got better when I went up. Look at the colors that way. So I'm still learning this new lighting. Let's turn it all the way down and see what that does. So it's a little cooler that way. So I will be putting all of these together. I'm going to do some whitewashing on the basket. And so I won't be able to do that until that's dry. I'm going to do a few more bundles of fruit. So you'll get some other ideas when you look at the folder. But this is a pretty good idea for you on different ways that you can use your summer fruit from today. Also, please keep in mind, I use cookies that I already had made. You could certainly plan this set out where you could do a picnic basket shaped cookie, right? You could easily do that, fill it full of fruit. You could do, let me show you, let me sketch something for you really quick. It would be so easy. There's so many cutters on the market that look like this. You could take, let me just move these so I don't mess anything up because you know I put my hand in icing constantly. So, you know, there's things out, cookie cutters out that look like pillows. Those would be fantastic blanket. They would make fantastic blankets. Can you see that? Let me get that in frame there. You know, those pillow cookies that were so popular in the fall, if you have one of those cutters, then you would just you could do tassels right here, right? You could just pipe tassels in this area. Do your red check here, pipe red tassels here, white background on the cookie. I do also think this cookie would be super cute if you turned a cookie in this direction, did white, iced your whole cookie in white, then did some clouds up here using one of those edged stencils where you just keep pulling it down and spraying a little bit more airbrush, do clouds, and then just do your blanket down in this section, your gingham, and put your fruit and your ant down here. So that would also be super cute. So lots of things that you can do with your Royal Icing Transfer Template Packet that's available for today at that discounted price. It will go up tomorrow at noon. At noon, it'll increase by $4. So grab it tonight if you can. Please know that you can use those templates for so much more than these cookies. And another night, I'm going to come back on and just show you a basic watermelon. Just one night this week because I have all the colors prepped. I have everything ready. We're going to end this video because we wanted to keep it all picnic and ant themed. But another night, I'll come back and show you a couple cute designs that are just straight out watermelon that you can add in as side pieces. This is just the little taco cutter from that subscription box reveal that I did 2 months ago. There's minis. There's really cute mini cutters. Or you can use like a 2-inch circle and cut it in half and make your own half circles. So you could do, let me see, is it invisible, Jen? Let me see what happens. Oh yeah, it's invisible. That's funny. That's my unsweet iced tea because I can no longer drink gallons and gallons of sweet tea. But anyway, you can make minis of this. So if you are having a 4th of July barbecue in a couple of weeks, there's going to be a bunch of kids there and you don't want all the big cookies going immediately and running off or being saved to be taken home. Do you guys find that happens at your party that like the cutest cookies disappear, but nobody's eaten a cookie yet? Then all of a sudden you realize that someone snagged the super cute, highly decorated cookie and hid it because they're taking it home with them. It's a compliment, but it's also like, hey, where did that go? But they like it so much they want to keep it. And I also always find out they don't eat them. They keep them. They're like, they're too pretty to eat, right? So anyway, I'll show you how to do a watermelon design that you can do in a large size and a small size. You could take a circle cutter, cut it into 4, and then you've got watermelon wedges if you want. And you can also use red sanding sugar if you want to make it real sparkly. But just lots of things you could do to make a really pretty fruit tray for your barbecues this summer, okay? Since we're all able to get together again. All right, so one more quick look at the weave on just this practice cookie just to show you what it looks like. And I'll show you this whitewash as well. All right. I am so excited about Tropic Tiki Hot. Tiki Hot starts next week, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And I can't wait to see what you guys think. I have not done a series of cookies like this before, but I wanted to work it in with some private groups that I'm teaching in. And a lot of the people in those private groups are also cake decorators. So I tend to do more fancy 3D projects, but I wanted to have more people be interested, not so intimidated by tackling a 3D project. So I thought if we made something like this to get them started, a lot of the things that I plan to be cake toppers can be converted to become 3D pieces if you have the time to do those. Otherwise, these are all things that you can do for cake toppers that will make your Hawaiian themed or your tiki themed summer luau barbecue cakes and cookies so much fun. So hopefully you will like the collection I have put together for you and the fact that we're using all the same colors and dry dust and all of that sort of stuff as we go along. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for all of your support today. Thank you so much. Judy, thank you again for this airbrush. It's phenomenal. I love it. And I feel fancy when I'm using my hot pink air gun. I love it. It just makes it happy. Please make sure you like the Facebook page, follow us on Instagram. We've got a YouTube channel. You can smash that subscribe button, as my sister says. She loves that. And then, hey, Shayna, I didn't know you were on here, girl. How are you? And then also make sure you join Cookie Snack Attack with Seriously Sweet. If we get to 500 by the weekend, I'm going to be giving away another free virtual class to the mermaid class that's coming out in a few weeks. Okay. Thanks so much, you guys. Bye, Sally. Bye, Jen. Bye, Nadine. Y'all, thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for all your support today. And I hope everyone has a fabulous week. I'll see you towards the end of the week, probably Friday or Saturday night, maybe tomorrow if work goes okay at the shop. Then I will do my Cookie Countess stencil reveal for you. That'll be so much fun, right? All right, y'all have a good night. Cupcake out.